news, my daughter. I found you a nice future husband with German ancestry. I hope he's from one of these German noble families in Scandinavia and not a Habsburg from Austria. Meanwhile, the prince in question, oh, how you gonna do him like that? They're basically saying Holland here has a Habsburg look. I don't see a resemblance. But then again, maybe that's because me and this guy probably have like a common ancestor. I don't know what that says about me either. Most developed jawline in Prussia versus least developed jawline in Austria. Pick your poison, it's one or the other. You can't hide this with a beard, but you can't hide this one. Centuries of French rule, I sleep. Centuries of Habsburg rule, I sleep. 15 years of Dutch rule. Real yeah, that's going just a little bit too far for the Belgians, or specifically for Flanders. That time Mussolini ordered a bunch of gay guys to be exiled to an island, and they turned it into a man-for-man utopia. He literally sentenced people to gay Italian island. I'm not sure this really went the way he expected. It belongs to the both of us, says Italy. Frick you, it's only mine, responds France. Oh man, it even has two different names too. It literally means White Mountain, and they literally have it under both Italy and France on Wikipedia. Greece's prime minister says he would steal some ancient English art to compensate for the Parthenon marbles, if any actually existed. And I feel like it's only fair to give Greece one of these rocks. Britain in World War I, taking suggestions from all the colonies on how to win World War I. Don't ask Canada. First, we throw canned food to gain their trust. Okay, yeah. Then kaboom. Ultra rare fact, Canada actually loves their war crimes. They would at first throw canned food, and then next throw a grenade. I'm getting good at catching these food tins. Look, here's another. What did we Serbs ever do to NATO to deserve to get bombed? Oh, just a little thing called Pearl Harbor. Maybe you've heard of it. Well, why did we get bombed? Meanwhile, NATO with Pearl Harbor. And how dare Serbia disguise their planes as Imperial Japanese? And they really thought they'd get away with this in World War II. Venezuelans approve a referendum to claim sovereignty over a swath of neighboring Guyana. Meanwhile, the United States Southern Command, here it comes. Desert Storm, but in the jungle. Rumble in the jungle, or Desert Storm Electric Boogaloo. Jungle Boogaloo? Did you know the human body is 60% water? Meanwhile, the Japanese, let's not pretend like they didn't know. Didn't they discover this fact after all? I'm sorry guys, but I just checked with the Japanese government and it turns out that this never happened. Horrific experiments done by Japan during World War II? No. The USSR making tanks, aircrafts, guns, bombs, and military vehicles. Meanwhile, the USSR making regular cars. I feel like they would have an impact on each other. Like, of course, you're gonna put all your time and resources into making this good. Carthage, pretending to be a Mediterranean superpower. Meanwhile, Rome, you think you're so great because you have boats. Well, luckily for Rome, they were going to show them their boats weren't so impressive. Unlike Napoleon here. Napoleon died on St. Helena. Napoleon escaped St. Helena and became a general for Spanish rebels. Napoleon escaped St. Helena and joined the Greek uprising. Napoleon became commander-in-chief of the Ottoman army. Napoleon III is Napoleon I. Napoleon was rescued by angels on St. Helena and is still alive somewhere with God. The British covered it up. But the ultimate galaxy brain theory, Napoleon never existed. It was only an allegory of the god Apollo and the sun. I actually didn't even know any of this stuff existed. How long were people gonna wait to share this with me? China despising Japan for downplaying their atrocities in World War II. Also China, when you ask anything about post-World War II atrocities made by China. Oh yeah, we can't talk about that. Let's talk about this subject instead. Yes, this famous meme about Rome will win or Persia will win, and meanwhile 600 years go by without the borders changing at all. Yet in reality, it was kind of, well, it was the Arabs that came up and just stopped that whole rivalry. That is technically how the meme really did end, at least if you are only going to this date. The Nubian pyramids, 2,500 years old, then the Italians arrive, destroy them all. Of course, sir. Yeah, there are a lot of examples of this done by all sorts of different places. It always makes me want to puke. Dudes be like, the natives are savages. My brother in Christ, you destroyed all their books and, you know, pyramids and sometimes just whole cities, in case of Spain and the Aztecs. Rome be like, did you really think losing our entire navy a mere 3 times would make us give up? Meanwhile, Carthage, kinda. I understand that logic. Rome was literally insane. They just kept rebuilding their navy. Freaking psychos. The Brazilian Empire officials, upon reading the demographic reports of Paraguay circa 1876. Whoopsie, we might have did a little bit of too much trolling. Not even a little bit. They did too much trolling. You took out 90% of the males that lived in Paraguay. We didn't lose Nam. Just check the ratio. It was 17-1. Be honest, so your goal was to oof as many Vietnamese as possible? No, we were trying to prevent them from becoming communists. Be honest, did you achieve that? Well, no. Thank you, responds Vietnam. This is the greatest argument. Who cares what the KD ratio was? Everyone knew we were there to stop Vietnam from becoming communist. And judging by the flag that is literally seen right here, that obviously didn't happen. You're in the Soviet Union in the 1930s, and it's career day, but your father is a meteorologist. This is referring to a meteorologist at this time that was sent to a gulag because of false weather reports. He's one of many of Stalin's scapegoats. Well, there you go. Imagine if we still did that. Like, you predict the weather wrong once, go to gulag. Praise Uwu, god of culture. Well, that is one of their names. That's their waifu name. The other one is apparently thought. What you imagine Sun Tzu's Art of War about? To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. The greatest victory requires no battle. The wise warrior avoids the battle. Meanwhile, what you actually read. You must have 8 oxen cartwheels and 10 gin of wheat. Movement amongst the trees of a forest shows that the enemy is advancing. If fighting is a sure result in victory, then you must fight. If you are anxious to fight, you should not go to meet the invader near a river. Wait, are you saying that most of the quotes from this guy are actually not real? What? Okay, so let me get this straight. You have this deity. This deity said that every meal he shows and makes wine turn to blood and flesh into bread. Yes. Then you drink the wine and eat the bread. Yes. What does the Greek word for cannibal translates to in Aramaic? I have to go write down a report to the emperor about this. Oh, wait a second. Apparently the initial Romans did think that there were a lot of cannibals. Hannibal on his elephant before starting to cross the Alps. Today, I will make history. Well, I'm glad he knew that before he even started that adventure. Time traveler sneezes. Meanwhile, the Great Pyramids of Giza. Now this is epic. They probably could have done it too. They just probably didn't want these things to roll away. This one sparks joy. This one does not spark joy. Yeah, can we just bring this back? Like, can we refix it to look like how it initially looked? I mean, it's cool, all like this, all original and stuff, but you gotta put that gold cap back on the top. B. Archduke of Austria. Unrest in Serbia. Decide to come over to this city on a Serbian national holiday. Guy bombs your car. Survive. Decide to come out again to visit wounded soldiers. Driver takes a wrong turn. Car breaks down. Another bad guy is sitting in a cafe on the exact street eating a freaking sandwich. He pulls out a gun and shoots you and your wife. Your death influences every major event in history from that point on. Refuse to elaborate. It's almost as if this guy knew exactly what would happen and wanted it to happen. Was he behind every event that took place after 1914? Must have had like a time machine or something. That's a scary thought. So if that is the history path he chose for us, what would have happened if he didn't? Like, the aliens come and just blow up everyone? Which of these two would win in a fight? A man who has dedicated countless hours into training and refining his skills with a blade, or a sharp stick? Another reason why spears and pikes are much more powerful. I could pick this up right now and maybe defeat like the greatest knight ever. Well, maybe, I don't know. Before offering it to the Americans, Russian Tsar Alexander II tried to sell Alaska to the Prince of Liechtenstein first. Meanwhile, in an alternative universe, behold the Liechtensteinian Empire. This was actually a real case. I wonder how long this actually would have lasted. I feel like someone would have just eventually taken it from him, right? Become double fighter ace in World War II, married a Hollywood actress, bored and flew again during Vietnam War, grew a mustache, become triple ace, died in 2007. The epic life of Robin Olds. Literally 30 years of service under his belt. Mussolini saying, I can take Greece. Or maybe his actual real name is someone who cannot take Greece. He can ask for help from Germany though, and they can help him take Greece. Jews on one hand and Arabs on the other. Kissy! Meanwhile, the British Empire, Why? American casualties in the Gulf War, in the Spanish War, the War on Terror, the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, and the Civil War. Oh, that's who wins. There's no one better at oofing Americans than other Americans. USA. USA. Czechs when other Czechs made good things during Czechoslovakia. It's Czech. Czechs when Slovakia made a good thing during Czechoslovakia. That's definitely Czechoslovakian. Don't you understand how that whole time period works? Both of ours. Estonia. Hey Denmark, can I copy your homework? Denmark, sure, just change it up a little bit so it isn't obvious. Estonia, yeah, no problem. Wow. Did you even try to change it up? You got rid of the hearts, but you still went with everything else. Estonia, we gotta talk to you about a little thing called plagiarism. Whether it's Denmark or stealing things from Finland, seems to be a lot of examples. If you're bullied for being Asian, just stop being Asian and you won't be bullied. Meanwhile, Finland's origin story. Whoa. Oh, is that what they did? The US only won because of their massive industrial capabilities, says the South, the No-No Germans, and Imperial Japan, and I'll keep freaking doing it. This is kind of our superpower that not enough people realize. Just build things a lot faster than your enemies can destroy them. It's a pretty simple strategy. It was probably one of the funniest events in human history. Meanwhile, Hungary losing all this land after World War I. Least nationalist Romanian just lost November. I didn't really think about this, but yeah, for all the people that were in this region that weren't Hungarian, they probably did get a little chuckle out of that. Stop appropriating my culture! Meanwhile, Zeus is now Jupiter. Talk about copying someone's homework and change it up a bit. Rome literally just copied all of Greek mythology. Spain, we have successfully protected our land from the thieving British. What actually happened? Hey, you're on the wrong beach. Oh, my bad. Apparently this happened in 2002 when a group of British Royal Marines accidentally stumbled upon a wrong village. They were supposed to go to British-controlled Gibraltar, but they went someplace else during a mock training exercise. These British troops then just quickly left, and the town thought they were responsible. They repealed them away. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, or Genghis Khan what he was doing between the years of 1187 and 1195. Apparently, Genghis Khan's rise to power as ruler of Mongolia wasn't so smooth. There's evidence to believe he spent a period of time as a servant of the Chinese Jin dynasty. He was literally fighting for his enemy and then came to destroy it all. My patrons on Patreon, thank you. KirinoIsBestGirl. Sebby, if you hear this, I love you. Traven's annoying friend. I can't sleep without Drew's voice. Drew on your dad, back with the milk. Look outside. Amateur Archaeology. aPhatNarwhal. Carmel S. Fredrik Tibblin. InquisitorXarius. Mexican JohnDenver. KirinoIsBestGirl. Lemons Lines. LuxembourgLover. Ortin 516. Robert RyeThePie. TheGreatRalphy. And ZaneyBoi